What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys Jujustu Kaisen, chapter 154. We are once again back in serialization with Jujustu Kaisen as of last week and blah, blah, blah. So let's jump into this one. Now, okay, so even the Viz translation, this doesn't sound correct. This does not sound correct at all. A lot of people are curious what this means. Now, there's still a division amongst the fan base about this, you know? Like the chapter itself is pretty dialogue heavy and there's a lot of stuff and there's a lot of theories. I'm not going to theorize anything about Kilala's powers. I'm not going to theorize a single thing about Kilala's powers up until we just get more information and we see more. Because we do have Panda and Fushiguro, Panda tries to explain to Fushiguro and yada yada yada, and then we do see them interact and stuff, and the ability is extremely strange and stuff, and I've heard different theories and stuff, and I do believe that a lot of them are in their basis correct, you know, the star and stuff. I believe I heard something about the Southern Cross being a thing, the astrology, the zodiac sign, something to do with astronomy, astrology, that kind of idea. I'm fully on board with that theory. It's probably got something like that to do with it. But what does it mean? What's it entail? I'm not sure yet. But the big thing that a lot of people are talking about, and still dividing the fan base, and that's due to two poor translations. The translation that, of course, I definitely didn't read. Yeah, absolutely. I waited till Monday. Yes, I did. Absolutely. And then the Viz translation. And both of them, terrible way to word it. Because now, to this day, there's still a level of doubt, and there's still a small group of people that go, no, that's what it means. Because in the Viz translation, what am I talking about? Well, in the first couple pages, we have Panda talking to Fushiguro all about the thing, all about going towards the door. And actually, it's quite hilarious because you know what this sounds like? It sounds exactly like Super Mario 64, running up the stairs. If you don't have enough stars, you can keep running up those stairs, run as fast as you can, but you'll never get any closer to the top. You need so many stars to get to the next section of the Bowser, fight, right? So it's actually quite funny that I'm just remembering that right away, and ironically, there's a star on the door and everything, and I'm like, Super Mario 64, I remember when I was young. So, either way, apparently this is part of Kilala's curse technique. And yes, guys, I'm going to keep referring to her as Kilala until we get an official, until she's introduced in the anime or something, because it could be Kirara or it can be Kilala because L's and R's. And I've seen the name before in other mangas and animes, and they always pronounced it Kilala, not Kirara. So, I mean, you can pronounce it whatever way you want, but I'm going to stick with that until it's confirmed. No, you actually pronounce it the R's, not the L's. So, that being said, pretty much, I'll just read it verbatim. Panda said, it's probably Kilala's curse technique, but I'm not sure. So, what Fushiguro asks is, Kilala, the other third year's a boy, right? Panda says, yeah, a boy. Now, this got a lot of people and their dander up, right? So, the way it's worded sounds really bad because it implies that they don't know that Hakari's a boy, that Hakari's a guy, right? Because he said, Kilala, the other third year's a boy, right? So, Kilala, the other third year's a boy, the wording is awful. This is the Viz translation, guys. This wording is no better than the fan translation, okay? Because what it makes it sound like is that, of course, they all know who Hikari is, but they don't know Kilala as well, because she was just introduced to us as well. So it implies that Fushiguro knows Hikari, does not know Kilala, and is saying, Kilala, the other third year, a boy, right? Yeah, a boy. That's the way it reads. That's the way it sounds. A lot of people are saying that's the case. Some people are saying no, it's just really badly worded. It's like Kilala, and then talking about Hikari, but that doesn't make sense. The speech bubble, the problem is literally the translations. The problem is the translations. The problem is the wording. You could even argue that it might be a bit of Gege's fault. The way he structured this panel was not a good idea, or the wording. So I'm going to go off on a limb just if anybody wants my opinion on it, because this is the main point of the chapter 154, it really honestly is, because this is what the community is going crazy about right now. Is Kilala a guy, or is it a girl, or is Kilala a guy pretending to be a girl or whatever like that, or is Kilala trans, or is Kilala this, or is Kilala that, like, you know, what is Kilala's identity, right? And now that's put into question and stuff, right? And honestly, I think we're just getting it almost as bad as the My Hero Academia fan base when people are like, "Oh, Minato is now bisexual and stuff because he can't platonically love Deku." Okay, so anyways, from what I understand is that this is poor wording. Kilala is a girl who identifies as a girl as far as I'm aware. That's my stance on it until shown otherwise. She is Hikari's girlfriend, apparently, and that's the deal. Now, I don't have a problem if it's revealed that Kilala is trans and Hikari still dates him, her, whatever. That's fine, dandy, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just, I think people are reading way too much into it. I think it's just poor wording in this one panel by Panda and Fushiguro. Panda's a panda, guys. Maybe not the greatest at English, so or Japanese in this case. I don't know, but the main deal is that that's the big issue on chapter 154. Got that out of the way. Okay, so let's move on. So pretty much what Panda and Fushiguro decide to do is they decide that they're going to go in there. They're going to try to get to the store. They're going to try to get to, they're all just going to try to get to Hikari. It's pretty straightforward. They're going to take out the guards. They're going to get to Hikari. That's the plan. Like, there's a lot of dialogue surrounding it, but realistically, it can be summed up with, "Hi Panda, hi Fushiguro, let's go try to get Hikari." That's it. So anyway, so they decide to do this, of course. So pretty much they go through this thing. We see actually Kilala is leading Itadori to meet Hikari. And just says, you're a first year in high school, that's young. Hikari had to repeat a year in junior high, actually, and stuff like that, so that's interesting, so we can tell that, Hikari looks a little older, so it does make sense. And they have a slight conversation and stuff, and she says, "I love it when Kin," so calling him my nickname, Kinji Hikari, Kin, I love it when Kin feels hot. Kin feels hot again, and I love it when Kin feels hot. So we don't, that can be taken, of course, very, you devious minds. But I think it implies, ooh, I'm feeling because he was saying before, strike when the iron is hot and sort of idea. So he seems to have this, I'm burning up, I'm fired up, I'm Natsu, sort of. He's got this, it seems to be this, not double speech, but just this, sort of analytical, not analytical, but this analogy thing that, when Yuta said that Hikari was going to be on the go, when he gets going, he's stronger than me sort of idea. Hikari might say that as, when I'm on fire, because they seem to be using heat and hot and fire. They seem to be using a lot of that based terminology to imply, when Hikari's all right, let's get excited. Let's do this. I'm amped up. That's what it is. I'm pumped up. I'm amped up. That seems to be the case. So we don't know what this means quite yet, but I suspect we're going to find out very, very shortly, because at the end of this chapter, what goes down. Now, we see that Fushiguro, using his shadows and blah, blah, blah. So they end up taking out quite a few of the guards, along with Panda. Very, very quickly, it all goes down really well. But then, unbeknownst to them, boom, there's Kilala right freaking there. So this is where they fight, and so they assumed that Kilala was going to be with Hikari. So, and then we see that she has almost, she looks, and once again, we see the star in her eyes. Now, this could just be a memory thing, but some people are going to think, more about that. But she was watching the security cameras with him and said, the kid with the spiky hair, if Panda snuck him in here, does that mean he's from Jujutsu High? So she assumes that these people, she already guessed it, they're from Jujutsu High. That means that Itadori is from Jujutsu High as well, who he calls, and this might be part of her shtick, because she calls Yuji Yu, she calls Kinji Kin, So that might be her thing. She might shorten everybody's name. It seems to be her little quirk. And then she decides, like, all right, Kinji, like, Hakari's in danger. I gotta call him. Now, automatically, Divine Dog, Fushiguro trying to go for the attack, but automatically, like, she's like, oh shit, here comes the Divine Dog, but then it's boom, and it goes right back into Fushiguro. And he's trying to figure it out. He said, why was it repelled? The Divine Dog couldn't even get close. It got close, and then it was pushed right back, sort of idea. So, and then there's this thing about Panda being marked and stuff like that. So there's a lot of information in this fight that we don't really understand exactly what it means yet. Fushiguro's not marked, but her ability still seems to work. Panda is marked. What does that mean? Does that mean that Panda is marked so that he can't enter that door like the Super Mario 64 thing? But Fushiguro, where he's not marked, he might be able to get to the door. Might not be able to attack her directly, but her ability only works if she's marked, like, I marked this door and I marked this person. They repel each other like magnets, and they can never get too close. But if she has, just because she marked the door, if they don't have the opposite pole, if she didn't mark Fushiguro, then Fushiguro potentially can get through the door, and she can't stop that. It's not like, it's got to be a setup ability, you know what I mean? So that sort of makes sense, because she thinks about him being marked, and then rushes towards the door, the monitor room, and going back to Hakari. So Panda's like, we're not your enemy. We just have a request for Hakari. Come on, Kilala. Like, we're not your enemy. And then she says, I don't believe you. How could you do this to me, Panda? And Panda's like, I can't get close. So the Divine Dog tries once again, gets in the way, and said, so Kirara can't approach either. But then, boom, Fushiguro is forced into the Divine Dog. And says, we can't get close, but there's more to it. Divine Dog and I can't separate. So, because Fushiguro, so the Divine Dog went in the path, and then Fushiguro, boom, right there. And I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? What kind of curse technique does she have? And so this is where we see what she meant by a mark. She has marked a star on the back of Panda's butt. And basically, as I said, I think that that's part of the thing, is that when she marks two individuals, when she manages to mark them, then she can repel or attract them as far as she wants. I don't really know what this has to necessarily do with astrology and the stars and stuff. I'm not too familiar with that subject. Maybe there is something relating to magnetized, like poles, opposites attract thing in astrology. I'm not sure, but very, very interesting, actually. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this technique, because we don't understand how it's working. Once we understand how it works, I'm going to be very invested, because I think this ability can be, like, stupidly broken given the right setup. It appears to me. So she, not only Hakari valuable, but Kilala seems to be incredibly valuable as well. So, and this begs the question, is there any more third years? We never heard about her until last chapter, so I'm assuming that maybe there might even be another third year or two. We don't know, so that would be interesting. But that being said, at the very end of the chapter, we get, because Hakari doesn't seem to know what's going on, or he's not paying attention, and he basically says, Itadori, would you believe me if I could say that you could work 1 hour a day and make 1 million yen a month? And you're just like, huh? But, I mean, Hakari there looking like a badass and stuff. So I'm hoping that, yes, I hope we jump back to this fight, but I want to see the conversation, because I want to see more about Hakari's character, more about his personality. So in chapter 155, I hope to have the bulk of the chapter be this conversation about money, about gambling, about luck, about working, about the world. I feel like this is going to go on this thing. Like, first answer, what he's going to say is, would you believe me if I said you could work 1 hour a day and make 1 million yen a month? He goes, of course you wouldn't. Who could dream up such a job? That seems like a pipe dream. However, blah, 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 and he's going to do some analogy. He's going to do some like thought process, you know what I mean? He's like some just explain how he views the world. And it's like, yeah, you wouldn't believe me if I said that, but a working class person does this, this, and this, and he's going to use logic. He's going to explain his logic about how money, how economy, how something works. I feel like it's going to be a little in-depth. I feel like it's going to be, we weren't going to expect this sort of attitude from Hakari, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it, you know? He's going to do some sort of, almost like a monologue and just be like, listen, here's, and then he's going to say, so you're damned this way. Like, here's option A, here's option B. He goes, like, life is this. I like this. Is going to be his sort of speech, you know what I mean? He's going to be like, A doesn't work because these people get fucked. B doesn't work because these people get fucked. He goes, I go in the middle. I choose option C, which nobody can seem to wrap their head around. And this is the way the world should work, sort of idea. And he's going to have that sort of thing. I would like that. I would think that's cool. That's just me theorizing about what Hakari's personality is going to be like next chapter. But opening up with this question, I don't think it's a legitimate offer. I don't think he's saying, yeah, you have to fight 1 hour a day and I'll give you $1,000,000 yen at the end of the month. I don't think he's going to do that. Like, I don't think it's a straight up offer. It might be, and I'll be a little disappointed because I'm reading too much into it. But I think there's more to this question than just simple, yeah, work 1 hour a day for me and I'll give you $1,000,000 yen each month. Like, I don't think that's a just straightforward, no read between the lines in this question. So, but what do you guys think? I really like this chapter because we're pumping ourselves up to see what Hakari's like for the next chapter, and also we got to see a bit more about what Kilala's abilities are in curse technique, and it seems very versatile, very useful. And when we understand it, I think it's going to be like, oh, okay, I can think of so many ways this can be broken, you know. But it's going to be really well done. I really enjoy that, and of course we like Panda and Fushiguro and stuff like that. So definitely a pretty good chapter. As I said, the one thing taken away from this chapter, and instead of anybody talking about the implications of the chapter, everybody's talking about, is Kilala a trans? Is Kilala a guy? Is Kilala this? And it's just like, yeah. So I'm hoping I got that part out of the way at the beginning of the review, and now we got to actually talk about the chapter, which, once again, pretty solid chapter. Not the best chapter, of course, but a pretty solid chapter. And the next chapter, I feel like it's going to be even more exciting because we're going to get more Hakari, more of his personality, and we'll probably see more of the fight and try to understand what are the limitations of Kilala's curse technique. So either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe as always. It's always very much appreciated. Don't forget to drink responsibly as always. I have to be careful with that. Don't spill, as I always do. And we will, well, I don't always spill. I always, semantics. All right, we'll see you guys back here next time. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.